As an elected official, it is a tough time to serve.
And you have to have a thick skin.
Mr. Haluba, and obviously I aggravate the unelected, thin-skinned Brian.Aungst.
Let's take a break.
I brought this up because I was asked to. This has been talked about behind the scenes here and by citizens. I've only got 7 months left. I don't care what anybody says about me.
Hi Clearwater, how are you? Yeah, this is gonna be a good video. And I do want to let you know I've got something special that I'm gonna post up here right now. And as you can see, I'm just gonna give you the basis of this, but what this is that you're looking at is the filing from the Ohio lawsuit for the people that were kicked out and arrested at the Ohio council chambers. Well, I have them. And so that being said, I have to give a huge shout out to Andrew Sheets. The name of his channel is called Charlotte County Cop Watch. I will put a link in the description below, but I ended up telling him that, hey, you know, I can't get it off of Pacer for some reason, and he found it. So he ended up getting it to me. So now that I have it, hi Clearwater, just to let you know, I don't know. We'll see what Clearwater wants to do. But what this video is about is basically showing a timeline. This is basically a timeline for the last 3 years. The last 3 years, I've been dealing with Clearwater. You know, I went to Clearwater, open carrying, and then I will go to a council meeting, get my hands put on, and then there's been a continuation. I know this video is going to be a little long, but if you really want to understand the frustration that I do have with Clearwater in their decorum rules and all the things that they've done to try to silence us at these meetings, this is going to break it down into a nutshell. So I hope you really enjoy this. I really hope somebody out there is paying attention and watches this and to understand what they're doing is against the law, or at least the Constitution. But hey, what do they care? You know, they don't really care about it. It's whatever for them, you know. But I do want you to pay attention to see the frustrations, not only myself, but Mr. Haluba that's actually been arrested for this. And once again, like I said, you know, we're gonna see, this is gonna get interesting really quick. So let's get into this video. Don't forget, hit that like, share, and that subscribe button. I will be at the end of this video just with a last recap, and I will leave a link in the description below if you actually want to go through. It's a 19-page thing, a 19-page, you know, filing form, and if you want to read it, I'll leave a link in the description so that you can read it for yourself. I just wanted to let you know I have it. So I'm out. Soloyaker, deuces.
Whoa, 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 hey, why you got your hands on me?
Because you're walking with a firearm.
I know, I'm going fishing. Look, I got a fishing pole.
You're not fishing right now.
I know, I'm going to that fishing pier right there.
Okay.
This is the first time I ever went to a Clearwater council meeting.
I'm leaving, dude.
You said that your
Shut
5
up,
seconds
dude.
was all you wanted was 5
Why
seconds.
Let's go. Hey, you're putting your hands on me,
Time
sir.
to go.
I'm leaving.
They've asked you to
You
go.
don't have to fucking push me, dude. You did the same thing your other officers did.
Time to go.
You put your hands on me
Hold your
once
thumbs
again.
up. It's time to
Set
go.
up your
You're
5
the chief
seconds, you
of
were
you're the
gonna
chief
die.
of police, and you're officer. What's your name and badge number?
It's Deputy
What?
Chief Eric Gandy of the Clearwater Police.
Yeah, I'm walking backwards.
The guy on the right, that's Mr. Hibbert. He is the ex-mayor. The guy on the left, that's Brian.Aungst. And yeah, it's going to be really interesting in these next couple clips.
And then, you know, been elected mayor 2 more times after that. As an elected official, it is a tough time to serve.
It's a
All
vicious-
those citizens out there,
Yeah, it's a vicious
understand
rhetoric.
that this is a very low-paying job, tremendous amount of hours, and you have to persevere. Somebody that is willing to come back 2 years later and persevere through this really has the passion. Otherwise, you would not pursue this.
Absolutely.
And I think that really is a wonderful quality that will serve her.
and you have to have a thick skin, and based on what's happening in her particular race, she has developed a very thick skin, which will benefit her on the dais.
Yeah, she's been through the fire for sure, but I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, you know, I have a very thin skin,
You do.
and I could never serve in public office.
No.
I mean, I know it. I couldn't take all the arrows in the back. It would be too difficult, because some criticism is justified, but a large proportion of it is not. It's lies people make up, rumors, and it's hard to live with because you want to defend yourself. But the more you do that with some people, the more you're giving them an opening to keep attacking you.
This is Mr. Hibbert, and this is funny.
This is probably one of the toughest things I've ever done in my entire life. But I know it's right. Because I'm not a quitter. But I'm not the right leader for this council anymore. And I'm concerned where the city is going, because this is simple math, and we're not doing very well on the test. But I can tell that really I am not the right person. And I'm a busy guy. I've always believed in making sacrifices for public service. And I love Clearwater. And I love some of the things we've gotten done. I think Imagine's going to be phenomenal. I think Ms. Poyer's going to do a great job as city manager. But in good conscience, for my family, for my own health and other things, I can't remain the mayor. I would highly recommend you appoint Hoyt for the interim. At least he knows the city. You're going to have to appoint somebody who doesn't want to be the next mayor. And I know this is shocking, but I'm the wrong guy right now. And I just called my wife. She's shocked. And I don't ever quit anything. But it's been more and more obvious to me that as much as I love the city, and as much as I want to stick around for some of the things that are going to occur over the next couple months, I simply am not the right person to be here anymore. And so I wish all of you the best. I like you all and enjoy your company in different ways. We don't always agree on things. But I want to thank our staff. You all are phenomenal. I think you are first-class people who are incredibly dedicated to the city and what we do. And you all deliver services on a daily basis in a way that is unlike anybody else. I've never lost faith in our staff. We always have bumps in the road. And as people say, if it weren't for people, everything would be easy. Our citizens and everybody else. I will say one thing, Mr. Haluba, you got your wish. So thank you all, and God bless you in this city. I wish you all the best. Thank you for all you've been to me.
This is where all those decorum rules that we've been talking about have started changing, was because of this day right here. This is the day.
Laws
of the City of Clearwater,
the City of Clearwater,
that I'm duly qualified
to
hold office
hold office
under the Charter and laws
under the Charter and laws
of the City of Clearwater,
of the City of Clearwater,
and that I will,
and that I will,
So Mayor, this is a decorum discussion. So as the council knows, we've had a recent conversation about how to get through council meetings more efficiently, and decorum is a big part of that, because the purpose of any government meeting, or any private meeting for that matter, is to get through the agenda, to get through the purpose for which the body has convened. The council has directed me to explore different decorum options that can help us do that. And of course, there's always a balance, because on one hand, we need to get through the agenda and to do it in a manner that's respectful of each other, respectful of our citizens, respectful of staff, and then at the same time, that we are also respectful of the First Amendment. and that we do it in a manner that's consistent with the Constitution. So to that end, as I started looking at this, I found several different options. And some of these are best practices, I would say, that I've seen from other governmental entities. Some of these are things that have been tested through litigation, and the validity of which has been upheld by the courts, and they have withstood a First Amendment challenge. So I picture this item as a menu of options. Now, that's like coming to a nice restaurant. You can order something off the menu. You can order something on the menu. You can order one of everything. And so it is entirely the council's decision as to which of these items, or all of them, that you would like to adopt. It's also your discretion to adopt none of them, as well as other items that are not on the menu. But I've presented these for a couple of reasons. Number one, I feel confident that each of the items listed here have survived First Amendment challenges. So that's number one. There's always going to be someone who's going to sue for something. That's just the society we live in nowadays. But I do feel confident, constitutionally speaking, that any or all of these will survive, the inevitable First Amendment challenge. So that's part of it. The second part of it is that these are all things that I have seen other government entities adopt in various capacities. So there is some of that best practice aspect to it as well. So no particular order. They're not, don't read anything into that. They were just the stream of consciousness as I was documenting it. So with that said, I'm happy to answer questions as to any one of these or all of them as the case may be. But what I'd like to get from council is to go one by one and to see if there is consensus among council for each of these, for all of them, for none of them. And so that way I know from a drafting standpoint what to actually draft. And so with council's permission, that's what I would ask.
Okay, I want to start and just, I brought this up because I was asked to. This has been talked about behind the scenes here and by citizens. I've only got 7 months left. I don't care what anybody says about me. And like the Vice Mayor said, stuff rolls off your back, and I understand that, but does the staff have to listen to some of the stuff they've been listening to lately? Things are just getting worse and worse in a lot of people's opinion, including the public. A lot of the public out there says it sets a terrible tone for the meeting when you have to listen to stuff that has nothing to do really with city business. A lot of it is imagined. Some of the statements made at the last meeting about the deputy chief and the city manager were completely false, completely, nowhere near true, amongst other things. So, this is not about me. This is not about me saying, I don't want this. I'm doing this for anybody up here who has to sit through any of this for the next X amount of years and the staff. If you don't want to do it, fine. I'll tell the attorney, put it back in his pocket and take it home with him. So I want to hear what everybody else has to say. Yes, sir.
So I think we've all had probably one-on-ones with the city attorney on this. One of the things that I think we could start off with is moving it to the end of the public comment, to the end of the agenda, because, we're here to do city business, and it's nice, we should have a time to have public comment, but a lot of the people that are coming up and doing the insulting and all the grandstanding are doing it for the people in the audience, and they don't really want to hear it. You move it to the end of the meeting, they're not going to have an audience. Maybe 2 or 3 people left in here. I think that'd take care of it. I also think that we had some issues before with campaign materials we're in the campaign season again. I think that should be left out because everybody seems to sit in that one seat there with their sign and get, I think, unfair, television coverage of their candidate, whoever that's going to be. I would say if we did those 2 things, and we could see how it all pans out, it may take care of the situation. But that's just my opinion. I'm up for listening to other things too, but the guy that was in here in the background with the middle finger salute the whole time that we were swearing in our new chief, I didn't think that was very tasteless for everybody that was looking, but I think I don't know. He could make probably a case to saying that's my comment toward the situation instead of a boo, but That's just, it's tasteless in here. So I really don't have anything against any of the things you have down here. We could try them all as far as I'm concerned. But I do think that just putting it at the end will probably solve most of it.
Okay, other comments?
Says clarifying that disruptive activities include the middle finger and similar obscene gestures and are therefore prohibited from, then the language is from the audience while another person is speaking at the podium. I would think they're prohibited from the audience, period. So people aren't flashing around the middle finger out in the audience, and not only when somebody's speaking, like that man did during the swearing in, right? So I don't know the distinction, Mr. Margolis, about only when somebody's speaking you can't flash, obscenities.
As I said, I mean, this is a menu, that can be modified. I would say that the rules should be as narrowly tailored to accomplish our purpose as possible. And so restricting someone who's not at the podium from doing that has a pretty legitimate purpose, because we all know that was incredibly distracting from the activity that was actually legitimately taking place at the podium, and it would have been just as disrespectful if it had been another citizen, there at the podium as it had been our chief.
Right.
And so I feel pretty comfortable that that's the case. If the council would like to expand that, say, to include the person at the podium, who's speaking, that would seem to be something that we could deal with as well. But that's something I'd want to look at a little bit more carefully, just because then you're talking about someone who's actually talking at the podium. Whereas when you're talking about someone who's not at the podium, it's not they don't have the floor, right? It's not their time to be heard in the first place. Whereas the person at the podium has a little bit more leeway in most cases because they're actually at the podium. So if that is something the council would like to expand to cover the person, say, at the podium, then we could do that. But or if you're looking to expand it just to say at any time, during the meeting that there's no gesture of that kind allowed, that's something we can look at. But I'd want to look at that a little bit more closely to see if that would be sufficiently narrow to survive First Amendment challenge.
Okay, because I was reading it as, once you're in the chambers, we're not using profanity in the chambers, either digits or anything else, right? On shirts or verbally or with gestures.
That's something that we're going to have to massage a little bit. So if it's something that the council is interested in moving forward with as far as prohibition on obscene gestures, then that's something we'll probably refine a little bit. Okay. Keep in mind that whatever the council gives assent to today will have to come back before the council after it's been drafted, and so then you'll have more opportunity to kind of craft that a little bit more. But before I even start drafting it, I at least want to know what topics you're interested in. Yeah. Otherwise, I could present an entire menu, and you could say, "Oh, all those foods are terrible on the menu."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in a minority here. But I believe the little guy has the chance to take a shot at us, that, we should be big enough to not let it bother us, uncalled for. But that's okay. I understand I'm a little more tolerant of this type of behavior than most. But having watched YouTube videos of the sheer insanity that happens at some council meetings across the country, I think we're getting off lucky. I agree the armed fisherman with his finger was terribly inappropriate. If we tried to escort him out of here, though, he would have created as big a scene as he did when he came here the first time and was shouting and screaming just so he could get video of himself with the police hauling him out of here. But again, I'm in the minority, so.
I'm Mr. Haluba, and I aggravate the thin-skinned Mr. Aungst. Mark Twain said politicians and diapers must be changed often for the very same reason. Mr. Aungst, as an unelected city official, you're very similar to a dirty diaper.
You're out of order, Mr. Haluba. That's your first warning. You get one more warning, and then you will be asked to be removed.
Any of the present office holders planning on running for re-election or mayor the analogy applies as well. Mr.Aungst, your civility and decorum campaign is in some ways proof of, you being a little bit scared, I guess. Somebody might say or do something I don't like. Boo-hoo, Mr. Aungst, boo-hoo.
Ha-ha.
Both Aungst and Mr. Margulies, by even contemplating these decorum rules, are in violation of their pledge to defend and uphold the U.S. Constitution. I believe unless this asinine affront to the First Amendment is not abandoned immediately, our city will find itself several rotations closer to going down the drain. The name's at the bottom of that.
All right, you're out of order. Please shut the cameras down. We're in recess.
You're out of order.
You're out of order.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Good evening.
Council members and city staff. Very opportune time for me to speak on a subject that came up at the work session on Monday, which was decorum in the city council chamber meeting. Perhaps it's not necessary for me to speak because of the action was just taken, but I still want to take up my time and do speak. Quite frankly, the obscene gesture that was displayed at the swearing-in of our new chief of police was an embarrassment to myself as a resident of Clearwater, as well as many other residents who spoke to me, as well as offensive to the occasion for him and his family, and it should never be tolerated. Disagreement is always acceptable, but it can be done in a civil manner. There is no need to attack people personally for their positions or their integrity or their motivation. You can do it in a very civil manner, and these are the differences that will be on display here at the council meeting. After that incident that happened with respect to the gesture, I was reminded of the city council rules that we have already. These were given to me a few years ago, and I've kept it in my folder each time. It is actually defined as an amendment, Resolution 19-27, adopted on August 14th, 2019, City Council Rules. It is rule number 15, Rules of Conduct. And it is very comprehensive with respect to the rules of conduct for a civil meeting to discuss and disagree on issues. I would like to suggest that it might require some amendment or strengthening. It does not have to be redone completely, as may have been suggested at the work session. In particular, it needs to be amended to not allow any political statements whatsoever by any means at a council meeting. The purpose of this meeting is not for a political demonstration. Speaking, actions, or gestures of a vulgar or obscene or racist nature should never be allowed. The chair has the responsibility of maintaining order at this chamber. For that reason, he may choose to admonish an individual verbally to cease and desist with her conduct, as was done tonight, or he may elect to enforce that concern by having the person physically removed from the meeting for this evening, because that cannot be tolerated nor allowed to occur. It offends us that are in the audience. It offends other residents that are watching on television. It offends yourselves as members of the city staff as well as the council, and should never be tolerated. There is a civil way to disagree and to conduct yourself, and perhaps some people need to be reminded of that by the chair. It is the chair's responsibility to maintain order and decorum here, and he has to have the means available to do that. I encourage him to do it, and I wanted to speak. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, 12.2 and 12.3 are companion items, but they are resolutions, so they go separate from each other and cannot go on consent. These are the updates to the council rules that the council has requested. I've presented the draft of them, and that's pretty much all there is to say on that topic.
Any comments or questions on these two items?
Not on this one, on the second one. So this is just the order of business. This is just, we take items not on the agenda at the end of the meeting, correct?
phrasing it the reverse, but yes, I mean, the agenda as proposed in 12.2 would be for agenda items to come first. And so then that has the effect of taking other items, moving them to a later sequence in the evening.
Hi, my name's Michael Taylor. I'm from Port St. Lucie, Florida. Just so we get some background to this, I came to Clearwater Beach. I came here open carrying while fishing, hunting, and camping. Under the law, you can do it. I ran into numerous officers. I had lieutenant, 2 detectives, and about 2 or 3 other officers. Didn't know the law. The previous chief, he's sitting right here. I was hoping, when I came here to speak at a public hearing or public meeting, I would, you guys respectfully granted my wish about making a video. After that, the Chief Gandy, that's sitting in the back, that's a coward, decided he wanted to put his hands on me. And just like the police on that day put their hands on me, he put his hands on me. And then he got sworn in. And then everybody up here had a big old problem with me doing this. Here you are. I don't care. This is my First Amendment right. The First Amendment protects me doing this. If you don't like it, I don't care. That's not my problem. That's your problem. You swore an oath to defend what I'm doing right now. And for all these cops and all these people in here that want to look at me like I'm the bad guy, right here, I don't care about your friggin' feelings. My rights trump your feelings all day, every day. These cops wanted to arrest me for doing nothing wrong. I was doing everything by the law, and they wanted to make me a criminal. If the 911 caller that called and didn't give my name, I was gladly going to Pinellas County jail to do whatever they wanted to do with me for doing nothing wrong. I was abiding by the law, and I have a problem with this because all you council members decided to change an ordinance or whatever it was that granted this man to get his pension or whatever it was. You guys got rid of that ordinance, and now he gets to get his pension and all the benefits, and he's the one he likes to put hands on people that did nothing wrong. And just because you don't like what I have to say, that's the most this is legal, asinine sentiment in my head. I can't understand why you would do that. Thank you very much. Every one of you put your hand up and said, just like they just did right now, I swear and affirm that I will uphold and defend the Constitution.
All right.
And that's what you need to do.
Thank you so much. Anyone else?
Mr. Haluba, and I aggravate the thin-skinned Brian.Aungst, who is not here tonight, so I guess I won't be ejected. But I do see Mr. Stiff back there in case I need to be ejected. Right? The First Amendment exists precisely to protect all forms of expression from government suppression. It protects even the most offensive and controversial speech. It's even been said the best way to counter obnoxious speech is with more speech, not censorship. I have no doubt that my civil rights were violated at the last city council meeting when I was wrongfully ejected, and I trust that that is not going to happen again.
Mr. Fisherman, I understand you're making a point. I don't think you need to be standing there as a distraction.
If I'm blocking anybody, just let me know and I'll move. I'm sorry, sir. Forgive me. I'll stand over here behind over here so I don't block anybody.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Good afternoon, council.
members.
23-15, a resolution of the City of Clearwater, Florida, amending council rules, providing an effective date. As the council knows, these are requests that have been made by the council as well as some members of the public to revise our decorum rules. I did, I think for context, and I hope it's helpful, attach the rules from the county commission as well as the rules from the Pinellas County School Board because I wanted both the public as well as this council to see some of the comparison language. But happy to answer any questions.
Questions, comments? I didn't have a chance to talk about this at the work session. I'm not in favor of putting any restrictions on free speech. I think it's important, but I understand everyone's feelings here. Anyone else care to talk about it tonight? Okay. If anyone in the audience.
I have a.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I wasn't going to make a comment, but you know, I'm going to make a comment on this. And you know, it's not that we have thin skin up here. We're here to perform a meeting, city business. I don't care if you want to go out and yell obscenities outside. It's not going to affect me. But if it affects the meeting, this is a special meeting, and we can set the parameters on what we want to hear in that meeting instead of going on and on and on. Monetizing YouTube videos is not the business of the City of Clearwater. Okay? So I know he'll probably cut that and show up. I'll show up on his video with a gun to my head or something. But, you know, we're here to perform business. And it's nothing to have anything to do with free speech. Go outside. You can talk all you want to, and you can jump up and down and do the one finger salute as much as you want. But in here, it really disturbs us trying to take care of city business. So that's all I wanted to say. Has nothing to do with thin skin. Has nothing to do with because we don't want to hear bad words. I can tell you, I've sit out here and I look at the audience, people that want to come up, like this couple right here, and they have to listen to that. It puts people off that want to come up and actually say something that has to do with city business. So I just wanted to get that out there and be very clear about it. That's all. That's my comment.
I appreciate it. Anyone else? We have public comments now or after the motion?
Whichever the Vice Mayor prefers.
Well, right now. Come on up.
Patrick Raftery, once again, a resident of Clearwater for 44 years. I'm one of the residents who spoke with respect to some offensive behavior that I saw at one of the sessions. It was very offensive to me. It diminished the moment of the oath of office being applied to our chief of police in the city of Clearwater. And as I have said before, I have no objection to people disagreeing very strongly with decisions that are made or events that are happening. However, I do believe there's a way to do it in a civil and reasonable manner without offending people. I do not agree that free speech is universal without limits. If I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking back to legal things I learned about long ago. The Supreme Court Justice Learned Hand himself said, free speech does not allow you to holler fire in a theater. There are limitations to it. We only ask that it be done in a civil manner, disagree in a civil manner, no personal attacks. And I believe the council can adopt rules of decorum and conduct that will be in compliance with the free speech article that we have. And if it's necessary, if it be tested in the court of law, so be it. But I don't think that is necessary. I'm reminded of an admonition I was given many years ago as a young man by my father. And he said to me, Patrick, he said, in life, try and practice what I call Irish diplomacy. And that is the art of telling someone to go to hell where they get excited and look forward to the visit. It's all in the way you speak about it. And I'm just encouraging people to disagree, but do it in a civil, non-offensive manner, free speech is definitely not universal, and things will offend most of the residents of this city. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Can we hear them? The resolution?
The resolution has been read.
Oh, it has. I'm
If the
sorry.
council would like to move it forward, then it would require a motion.
All right. Do we have a motion?
Yes, motion to approve agenda item 12.2.
All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. So 3-1 with Vice Mayor Bunker abstaining.
You may not abstain.
Oh,
You do
Or-
have to vote.
voting.
Opposed? Okay.
Voting opposed. Yeah,
All right.
sorry.
I'm Mr. Haluba again. I just wanted to publicly thank Mr. Bunker for voting against Mr. Aungst's civility and decorum rules. And I received a reply from an open records request from Mr. Gandy that calls zip tying chairs together a safety measure. It is not, Mr. Gandy. You're misquoting the law. How could that be? There's your safety measure right there, Mr. Stiff. Look how nice these chairs are compared to what we have down at the library, the soggy library. But again, the civility and decorum rules are not going to supersede the Constitution in any way, shape, or form. But again, thank you, Mr. Bunker, for voting against that. Mr. Aungst, you didn't even show up. I'm Mr. Haluba. Mr. Aungst, I'd like you to hold on, bite your lip, sit on your fingers. Most importantly, remain silent while I speak. Respect everyone's First Amendment rights, which you have a problem with. Now, Clearwater's in serious trouble. We have a city council that places undeserved glorification on an underperforming city manager. Apparently, to cover up ignoring the city charter in placing the city manager. It's nauseating. It's not going to work. Recently, we saw the dog and pony show performed by the irritable Eric Gandy regarding Nick Paloma. Gandy took no responsibility. Just another indicator of the inbred culture at Clearwater Police. If anyone was expecting a list of policy changes to prevent the next Paloma incident, it's not there. It's not there because Gandy refuses to take his responsibility seriously. There's many more Palomas within Clearwater Police, but why is that? Clearwater Police does not perform detailed and complete background checks. Basically, if you can fog a mirror, you could be a Clearwater police officer. And this is another major fault of the city manager. Clearwater Police has a performance metric that they call self-initiated activity. They literally go around looking for trouble, and when they don't find any, they create trouble. Other law enforcement agencies grade officers on their quality of contact with the public, and I understand PCSO does this. It's much less confrontational and fosters trust and respect. I don't believe any meaningful change is possible with the irritable Eric Gandy as police chief. We cannot expect any significant citywide reforms under this paper tiger city manager. Mr. Gandy, vaffanculo stronzo.
My name is Michael Taylor.
I go by the Armed Fisherman on YouTube. I came to Clearwater almost 2 years ago, and I ran into a officer. I refer to her as Big Nasty. I think her name is Meg Hasty. She's a lieutenant. I met a couple detectives. They didn't know the law. Daniel Slaughter was sent a letter in 2020 to start training their officers on the open carry exceptions here in the state of Florida, and ignored that, and I got to meet Lieutenant McNasty. I then come to a council meeting where Slaughter is still the chief of police. The coward over here in the corner, I don't even care to acknowledge him, but your current chief decides to put his hands on me. That's the second time I've been to Clearwater and had my hands get put on by the police here. I then have a good friend of mine. You might know his name. His name is Honor Your Oath, Jeff Gray. He came here with a sign that said, God bless the homeless vets. You then try to trespass him, possibly arrest him, and only until they went inside, and I'm thinking they talked to you, Mr. Bunker. I don't know for sure, but he talked to somebody inside the city management, and they were like, hey, he's allowed to do this. It seems like you have a problem with anybody that, hey, could be homeless here. I've seen plenty of videos of homeless people being ridiculed and persecuted by the police here. And for Mr. Margolis, you might want to write this down. The court case is called David Wartros versus State of Florida. If somebody wants to ask for money, it is completely legal. It's been decided in the Supreme Court. So leave the homeless alone. If they're saying, hey, you got an extra $1? You've got all this money that you're willing to give out to the city and to you for a raise and this, that, and the other. But for somebody to say, hey, man, you got an extra $1? And that's going to be a crime here? I think you need to relook this. And then on a final note, just so that I make Mr. Aungst, the thin skin of Mr. Aungst, so happy, Mark Twain said it best. You know where I'm going with this, don't you? Mark Twain said it best.
This is your First Amendment right,
Politicians in diapers need to be changed frequently. So this is what I have to say to you, buddy. Yeah, I'm cool with you, bro. Yeah, right here. Yeah, cool, man.
All right, that's your second warning. Please escort him. Turn the cameras off. Turn the cameras off. Get him out of here.
Thank you. Mr. Halub, always a pleasure to see you. Before you start and tell me to sit on my fingers and not say anything while you speak, you ended the last meeting in violation of the council rules by using profanity aimed at the chief, so you have your first warning tonight. Any further warnings, and you will be asked to be removed from the chamber.
I'm Mr. Haluba. Mr. Bunker has acknowledged mistakes were made by Clearwater Police. Now, unfortunately, those mistakes are repeated in an ongoing manner. And of course, Clearwater Police does not have every facet of the law at their fingertips. So what? That's not necessary. All they need is a working knowledge of the law and a little bit of compassion, both of which are sorely lacking. Ignorance of the law is no excuse, especially for law enforcement officers. Clearwater Police is not well respected for many reasons, and that sort of ignorance is one of them. The lax hiring standards under Jennifer, Slaughter, Gandy is where it starts. There needs to be serious reforms within Clearwater Police to earn the public's respect. Or it can easily be disbanded. PCSO is primary law enforcement. Now, Jennifer can spout falsehoods to a round of applause from the city council with Miss Beckman as her #1 cheerleader. However, that does not change the fact that the recycle debacle and ripoff is ongoing. And there's many other problems, obviously, some of which we heard tonight, that Ms. Poirier can't handle. The history of this city council changing or ignoring the city charter needs to stop now. It's a horrible practice. It's a breach of trust. It's how we ended up with recycled people like Brian.Aungst, Gandy, Slaughter. It will be entertaining, in my opinion, to watch the fireworks explode if the city pursues any eminent domain downtown. And I don't really care, man or woman, or if Mr. Margulies holds hands with anybody, but he really should pick a new barbershop. I have 10 seconds, Mr. Aungst. Say something else.
Did I say anything?
Thankfully, no.
What I will say is that you and your cohort supposedly quote a Mark Twain quote about politicians and diapers. It takes someone with a third grade education about 2 seconds to find out that that's a lie. It never happened. It was invented by Twitter. But again, Mark Twain did say, it's better to keep your mouth shut and let people think you're a fool than open it and leave no doubt.
I'm Mr. Haluba, and I aggravate the thin-skinned Brian.Aungst. The Clearwater recycle debacle and fraud is ongoing. Fox 13 is having a series regarding really how screwed up recycling programs really are. I recommend all of you, watch and pay attention, especially you, Ms. Beckman. Now, at a recent community football, flag football event, Mr. Gandy graced us with an interview. Thank you. Often, we swoop in, lights and siren. Somebody goes to jail, and we're off to the next call. There's no time for positive interaction. It's very transactional. We understand that, Mr. Gandy. Dealing with Clearwater police is always a negative experience. Maybe less swooping and a little more taking time to explain your actions would improve community relations. Gandy's statement is not only devoid of empathy, but signals all Clearwater police officers to mistreat the citizens they encounter. Nicholas Paloma is a perfect example. No policy changes have been announced to better screen applicants for police work. One would think, Jennifer, that you would make a public comment regarding the Paloma disaster, especially since you were promoted from human resource manager. Actually wrongfully promoted in my mind's eye. But no, nothing. Jennifer's just a silent mannequin. She's poised, articulated, and used really by all of you, but especially the adoring Kathleen Beckman. It's no wonder, as Mr. Dalton pointed out last time, that citizens are not listed on the Clearwater organizational chart. It's because you people absolutely do not care. You don't care. Vaffanculo stronzo, Mr. Aungst.
You got a warning for the next meeting.
That doesn't work. I've already talked to Ms. Cole about that. You're out of line.
We'll see. Anyone else? Who else would like to talk?
Thank you. All right. Just let me know when I'm ready. All right. My name is Michael Taylor. I'm from Port St. Lucie. I'm from 4 hours away from here. And I'm going to start out with some really positive things. And I never thought I would say this, but Mr. Gandy, thank you for talking to whoever you talk to and say you would not pursue going after the open carry law. Thank you. Margolis, or Margolis, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I hope I don't ruin it. But thank you for removing the panhandling ordinance here, because I was out on your Clearwater beach today, and I was panhandling saying I need money for guns and ammo. I collected roughly about $20. Panhandling today. Thank you. Thank you for removing that ordinance. Thank you so much. It goes really deep for me. But there is going to be some negatives, and here they come. Mr.Aungst. The thin skin of Mr.Aungst. Me personally, I think you should just go ahead and resign. I've just created a YouTube channel for Mr. Haluba. It's called The Thin Skin of Clearwater Beach, or Clearwater. Thin Skin of Clearwater. It's on YouTube. And the weird thing was I was watching a lot of the meetings before you got thrown into being a mayor. And the one thing I noticed is that the mayor didn't say anything. He just sat there and shut his mouth, and you have a big problem because your feelings get so hurt. So, roll up my sleeves so we can make sure we get this right. Mr. Aungst, I really don't care about your feelings. Your obligation is to the citizens of this town, but for some reason, I personally have been persecuted by your town, by the police, in certain other places, but hey, we're just going to stick to the police today. So for me, to you, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, Mr. Aungst, and I hope that you resign and give it up to Mr. Bunker. Mr. Bunker is well capable of taking over the next 3 months of what you're not doing. Like, you don't even care to be here. Like, you're looking down at your phone right now, not even paying attention to me. Why? Because you don't like what I have to say. I come here once a month, and you're sitting here like, I don't want to hear. Just quit. Quit today, and rid the people of your existence as a mayor here. So have a Merry Christmas, everybody, and a Happy New Year. And until you resign, I'll keep coming.
Mr. Luba, before you speak, I have something to say, and I would appreciate if you don't interrupt me while I say it. During the last 3 council meetings, you violated the decorum rule at the end of each meeting by derogatory remarks aimed at a named individual, which is a violation of Rule 15. You've been repeatedly warned against this disruptive behavior. I'm now warning you prior to this meeting. If you do it again this evening, you will be asked to leave. And if you do it at the end of your discussion in previous or next meetings, coming up meetings, you will be suspended from the following meeting. You may now proceed.
Can't do that. First Amendment, sir. I'm Mr. Haluba, and obviously I aggravate the unelected, thin-skinned Brian.Aungst.
Let's take a break.
It had something to do with his son and
Mr. Luba.
the aiding and abetting of the takeover of downtown Clearwater.
Mr. Luba.
Don't touch me.
We're not touching you. Just
Don't
make your way to the door,
touch me.
please.
You got a copy of the complaint that I filed against Mr. I'm speaking right now.
Mr. Luba, he's asked you to leave. It's time to go. You can come back to the next meeting, but you got to leave now.
He just said I could come back to the next meeting.
That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Mr. Luba, let's go. Mr. Luba, head to the door, please.
Where's Mr. Banks tonight? Where's Irritable Eric Gandy? Where's Mr. Wallet?
Before we go any further, Mr. Taylor, your shirt is in violation of council rules. So we're asking you. All right, you're in violation of our rules, and we're asking you to either.
Hold on. I have a First Amendment right, dude. Come on.
Take a break.
Dude, this is against my First Amendment right. This Cohen versus California. Hey, Margolis, you know this court case.
Mr. Taylor from
Cohen versus California allows me to have a shirt. I didn't say one word.
Mr. Taylor. You were in violation.
Dude, this is what happens if I do not leave. What is going to happen? Please state that for me right now, because I'm about to file a lawsuit against all of you if you violate my First Amendment right now.
Mr. Taylor,
If I do not,
you're being ejected from the meeting.
if I do not leave,
decorum, okay?
hold on. If I do not leave,
okay?
if I do not leave, what will happen?
Mr. Taylor, you're being
If
ejected for violating the rules of decorum, okay?
I hear what you're saying. If I do not leave, what will happen? What will happen?
Okay?
Tell me, please, somebody tell me what will happen. Gandy, please tell me what will happen if I do not leave right now. I'm asking the chief of police. If I do not leave, what will happen?
He's addressing you at this moment. Listen to Officer Mercier and what he's telling you.
The rules of decorum at this time, okay? You're being
Is it
ejected from
a
the meeting,
rules
okay?
trump the Constitution?
We're asking you to leave council chambers.
Asking
you may
or
remain in the
demanding?
library.
Is-
You may remain in the library. Okay?
Why should? If I do not leave,
Council chambers at this time.
I am genuinely asking you, Gandy, please talk to me, please, please.
Violating the rules of decorum.
If I do not leave, what will happen?
You're going to get
Arrested.
from the meeting.
If I get
and you'll
removed.
just listen for a
Okay.
second.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the mayor's determined that you violated the rules of decorum.
What? How?
Will you listen for a second?
Mhm.
He's made that determination.
Mhm.
Our position in this is
to uphold the
escort
Constitution.
you out of the meeting.
Right.
If
Cohen
you refuse
versus
to
California.
leave, if you refuse to leave,
Mhm.
you can be arrested for trespass.
Okay.
after
Thank you.
warning.
Thank you. That's
Okay.
all I
You're
need.
trespassing him.
You're trespassing me.
Yes.
Okay.
This meeting.
Cohen
and
versus
this meeting alone.
California.
Understood.
Trespassing under
Can
the
I,
First Amendment.
your name and badge number? I just want to get people's names and badge numbers so I can put you on the lawsuit. Name and badge number, please. What was that?
3389.
What was that?
Mike Wallach, 3389.
No First Amendment
Yours?
in here.
Marshare 7532.
Candy 2475.
So they swore to protect
Thank
the
you.
First Amendment.
Stiff,
Here they are
4148.
threatening violence against
Dan
somebody.
Kelly, 109634. No one threatened violence, sir.
You said you would remove him forcefully.
Forcefully. If
And you assaulted
Well,
him
he ain't gonna go.
You've
he
already
gonna
put your
have-
hands
You're
on
gonna
me.
have to take all.
Hey,
turn your shirt inside out.
Turn your shirt inside. Shut the up, dude. All y'all. All y'all. I'm getting. Don't touch me. I'm getting my stuff, and I'm.
Nobody's touched you, Mr. Taylor. We've asked you to just gather your items.
All of y'all are a piece of shit. This is the First Amendment violation, and if you don't believe this, this is garbage. You, Unks. I can't wait. I'll be waiting for you outside, mother. This ain't a threat. I am not threatening violence. I'll be sitting there waiting for you to redress you. I'm going to redress you, Mr. Unks, you piece of. And at the time of this recording, I'm 55 days in on an investigation for this incident right here. 55 days. Still. Crazy.
I'm Mr. Halupa. And some blanks that can be filled in there. I do, however, want to thank you, Mr. Aungst, for your comments at the work session regarding the certain campaign irregularities. I think you deserve a couple thumbs up. Now, as the Clearwater police recruits were swearing in, new officers, let's not forget a couple of recent events. And could I have that put up, please?
Right on the heels of the Nicholas Paloma debacle comes the disaster Brian.Teixeira. This is another example of the shoddy hiring practices done with incomplete background checks by Clearwater Police. Are we not putting these things up?
No,
So Eric Gandy says, we immediately initiated an internal investigation and placed him on administrative leave. Well, not according to what St. Pete Times said. He has a history of unruly behavior, mental health, substance abuse issues that go back at least 3 years. So there was nothing immediate, Mr. Gandy, that you did. It's just a lie. Now, it seems that once hired, city management and police supervisors tend to look the other way at the moral and illegal actions of some Clearwater police officers. It's too bad because when they do that, it bastardizes their position of public trust and authority. And it goes on and on and on with Clearwater police. So, new hires, welcome to the dysfunctional, self-serving, and unnecessary Clearwater Police Department. It needs to be shut down. We can save a lot of money. It'd be good city management. Contract law enforcement services with the primary law enforcement agency, and that would be Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. And let's not forget that the First Amendment supersedes Robert's Rules and Rule 15.
Sir, in the back, you're out of order. You're wearing a t-shirt that's against the council rules by naming individuals. Please remove him from the meeting. Let's take a break.
Information.
I'm Mr. Haluba, and I aggravate the thin-skinned Brian.Aungst.
That's your first warning. You know the rules by now, Mr. Haluba.
Now, the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution safeguards several fundamental rights that are actually essential to American life. The right to petition government by individuals. They can address grievances. They can seek redress by submitting petitions to the government. This allows citizens to voice concerns, propose changes, or seek justice. Another part of it is the right to assemble peaceably. Citizens have the right to gather for peaceful purposes such as protests, demonstrations, or public meetings like this. The government cannot unreasonably restrict this right by coming up with a Rule 15. Now, freedom of speech, that ensures individuals can express their thoughts, opinions, and ideas without fear of government censorship or punishment. This freedom extends to various forms of communication, including spoken words, written text, and artistic expressions, such as words on a t-shirt. Rule 15 is an attempt to restrict these rights. Rule 15 is a threat to democracy. Rule 15 should be vacated and repealed now.
Anyone else on items not on the agenda?
Yeah, that's a hard act to follow right there. I do have some paperwork.
Please give your name for the record. Mr. Taylor, please give your name for the record.
Oh, my name is Michael Taylor. I'm from Port St. Lucie, Florida. Thank you very much. Just to let you know, Mr. Aungst, what he has in his hand, you've been served. Mr. Margulies, you are now served. Mrs. Call, there is going to be one for the city. You're served. Unfortunately, the tyrant, Gandy's not here, and there's one for him too.
All right, that's your first warning, violation of Rule 15. You can either go out in the hallway and turn it inside out. You can take it
Cohen
off
versus
and turn
California allows me to wear this shirt. Cohen versus California, the guy had.
Please
the
remove
word
Mr.
F
Taylor from the meeting. Let's take a break.
Tyrant. This is no different. This is going to be a second one.
Mr. Taylor.
I know, dude, don't. I'm getting my stuff. I'm getting my, just shut the front door. Leave me the front. This is the first one, and you're gonna get. You just got a second one. I'm leaving right now, dude. What are you talking about, dude?
Try not to make it.
Shut up. Don't talk to me, and I won't say nothing. That's how it is. You don't talk to me.
Fuck the police.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Look at all you guys. Hi. Hi.
Taylor, the
Hold on.
closed. You gotta leave.
I'm leaving.
If you don't leave,
Name and
you're gonna
badge
be
number.
arrested.
Name and badge number. Name and badge number. Name
Leave,
and badge.
Mr. Taylor.
I'm leaving.
Kaluba, and I am not a Clearwater police booster. You've heard me speak many times about Byron Lou Hatcher and this business. 108 traffic stops. Why? He's a stalker, that's why. He's abusing his authority. But here's a couple more. Alexis Kelsey and Winter Auduel, who are under Mr. Stiff's supervision. Civil rights violation, wrongful search and seizure, false arrest. And what do they get? They get a letter of reprimand. That's it. Both of these police officers should have been fired. How can we, as citizens, have any faith in Clearwater Police Department as a whole if this is going on and not addressed? I've made several complaints right here at this podium about Byron Lou Hatcher. Nothing's done. Alexis Kelsey and Winter Auduel, they're usually here, but I guess tonight's their night off. Ms. Poirier, when are you going to do something about Clearwater Police? They're running amok. And here's the problem right here. A legacy problem. Daniel Slaughter. I honestly believe, Mr. Slaughter, that you actually are controlled by the police union and you are controlled by the FOP. You're not doing what's best for the citizens of Clearwater. You never did. And for, Mr. Margolis, you sound more like a attorney for Fly USA than an attorney for the city of Clearwater. All you did tonight was defend their position and justify what's going on. And I find that to be a conflict of interest. I find it to be a basis for a bar complaint. You need to get your head in the right place. And I do aggravate the thin skin of Brian.Aungst.
So you got your first warning for the next meeting. The next time you do that, you're going to be thrown out. Please remove Mr. Haluba from the meeting.
I have civil rights, Mr. Aungst.
Remove Mr. Haluba from the meeting.
Which you are violating right now.
Remove Mr. Haluba from the meeting.
Don't touch me.
Which section, sir? He's asking you.
He doesn't have the right to ask me to leave.
Yes,
No,
I do.
he doesn't. One time,
Let's go.
arrest me.
If you're refusing to leave, I'm issuing a trespass warning.
Okay, issue it.
You're not being issued a trespass warning. If you
No,
refuse
you have
leave, you're gonna go to
to,
jail.
you have to do it in writing.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Mr. Luba, I'm telling you right now, if you get out, you're going to jail.
Let's go.
Mr. Luba,
I
this is the last time I'm telling you.
fucking dare you.
You're arrested. I'm not pulling away, you're pushing me. I'm gonna walk at my own pace. I am walking. Anyone else on items on tonight's agenda?
And like I said, I'll leave that link in the description below of the lawsuit. But like I said, this is wild. Wild. All over this. So Clearwater, if you're watching, this is what started all of it. This is what started all of it. And just like you said, you're supposed to have thick skin and let it roll off your back and blase, blase, blase. Obviously, that's not the case. You are so butthurt and so triggered that I've made a timeline of everything and showing the world of how friggin' psychotic you are, Mr. Aungst. But hey, don't forget, I want to see a lot of you on the 18th. That will be in the description and all that good stuff. So hold on. Hello.
Hey, what's happening? Is it bad time or?
Oh no. I was just doing the outro of the hour-long video of the timeline of all of us being basically harassed and everything. And the funny thing is I'm still recording. I was like, I can't miss his phone call, so I picked it up. But yeah. Yeah, it's all good, man. Friggin' but let me finish this thing real quick and just hold on 1 second. Just 1 second. Don't hang up. But like I said, that was Mr. Haluba on the phone. I got to speak to him, and like I said, friggin' yeah, this is insane. For 3 years of all this happening, not only to myself but Mr. Haluba himself, it's only gone downhill, and I want to see all of you on March 18th at 6 p.m. Links will be in the description, and I'm out of here. Soloyaker, deuces.